1988. In a few moments, we'll be welcoming the Secretary for Culture, Sport and Tourism, Mr. Kevin Yeung, to our gathering, who is representing our Chief Executive, Mr. John Lee. Now, due to the current social distancing requirements, we won't be serving refreshments here at the lower terminus, but we will be delighted to offer the Peninsula's traditional hospitality on the rooftop of the Peak Tower once you reach the Sky Tower. I know it's rather chilly tonight, but I can assure you that we have heaters set up at the rooftop, so I can ensure that everyone is going to have a fun, fabulous, and warm evening. When you arrived earlier this evening, you may have noticed the amazing art installation, if you take a look over there, beside us, which was commissioned by the Peak Tramways Company and is called Eye of Infinity. We're very honored this evening to have the artist who created this magnificent artwork here, Lindy Lee. Please give her a huge round of applause. This artwork was inspired by Hong Kong's skyline and its spirit of ascension while journeying the peak. To start the ceremony, it gives me great pleasure to invite on stage Chairman of the Hong Kong and Shanghai Hotels, the Honourable Sir Michael Kadoorie. Please welcome. I'd like to invite Sir Michael to please proceed to the podium for a light-up ceremony. Thank you, Sir Michael. Next, I'd like to invite on stage Mr. Clement Kwok, CEO of the Hong Kong and Shanghai Hotels. Next, I'd like to invite the mastermind behind this fabulous artwork, Lindy Lee. As well as Australian Consul General Ms. Elizabeth Ward to come up on stage. Welcome, guests. Now, one of the most beautiful aspects of this artwork is its interior lighting, which is actually timed to brighten up with the arrival of each peak tram as it approached the terminus. And the movement of the lights makes it appear to breathe and come to life. Now, on my count of three, I'd like to invite our 4 officiating guests to please push the bar down, and then we'll officially light up this beautiful artwork. Are you ready? On my count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Wow! It's absolutely magnificent. And I'd like to take this opportunity to invite our 4 guests on stage to please proceed to the front of this beautiful artwork for a group photo. So I'd like to invite Mr. Clement Kwok, Sir Michael, Lindy, and also Ms. Elizabeth Ward. And guests, please feel free to also take a look at this beautiful artwork that has just lit up. As you can see, the lights inside bring this artwork to life. And it's definitely very festive. So our 4 guests, our official photographer, right in the middle for a photo. Please look at our official photographer for this momentous photo. And also all our media friends here tonight, and all our guests here this evening for this photo. Thank you very much. Thank you. Now, everyone, please enjoy this artwork's magical lighting for a few moments, and very shortly we'll be able to commence the next stage of our ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to proceed to the next stage of our ceremony this evening. Without further ado, please join me in welcoming Mr. Kevin Young, Secretary for Culture, Sport and Tourism. Very warm welcome. Mr. Young, please have the pleasure of making the opening remarks and to say a few words. Thank you.
Sir Michael, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. We are here this evening for the grand opening ceremony of the 6th generation Peak Tram. The Peak Tram is one of the most iconic tourist attractions in Hong Kong. Having served Hong Kong for more than 130 years, the tramway has had its operating system updated and upgraded over the years. The facelifted Peak Tram, which reopened in August, features new tram cars with much enhanced capacity. The lower terminus in Central and upper terminus on the Peak have also been renovated with new features. I'm sure this would be great attractions to visitors and tourists. The Culture and Tourism Development Plan for the Guangdong, Hong Kong, Macau, Greater Bay Area set out the directions and guides the development of the Greater Bay Area into an exchange hub for culture of the East and the West, and a world-class tourism destination. We are working in full steam to enhance the roles of Hong Kong as an international tourism hub and a core demonstration zone for multi-destination tourism through various initiatives. Lastly, I would like to express my gratitude to the Hong Kong and Shanghai hotels and the Peak Tramways Company for the efforts made in upgrading this unique journey for travelers. I'm sure that the Peak Tram will continue to do well as an important tourism and recreational facility and play an important part in telling a good Hong Kong story. Thank you very much.
I'd like to invite Mr. Young to please proceed to the right-hand side of the plaque. Thank you so much for your opening remarks. Now I'd like to invite the Honourable Sir Michael Kadoorie, Chairman of the Hong Kong and Shanghai Hotels, to deliver his welcome speech. Sir Michael, please.
Thank you. That's all right. You'll be fine. You'll forgive me, but I can't see here through the mask. But you were able to. Thank you very much. The Honourable Kevin Young, Secretary for Culture, Sports and Tourism, I really have to thank you for being here. Distinguished guests, it's a little warmer down here than it is up there, but I hope you're all going to enjoy this afternoon or this evening. Good evening to everyone, and I have the greatest pleasure in welcoming you all here this evening to the official opening of the 6th generation of the Peak Tram. Since the establishment in 1888, the Peak Tram has been an enduring icon that has brought pleasure to generations of Hong Kong people and overseas visitors alike. I don't know why I'm having so many problems. Probably I didn't eat enough lunch. During that period, it has experienced many, many changes, and we are particularly proud of this latest milestone in which we have invested some $800 million, reflecting our belief and our views and love of the tram, its importance as an integral part of the history of Hong Kong. With the world getting back to normal, visitors are returning, and as it always has been, Hong Kong is bouncing back, with the Peak Tram proudly resuming its place as one of the world's top visitor attractions. Manufactured by Garavanta, CWA, and Frey, specialists in funicular railways, this tram is a fine example of Swiss engineering. Here, I would very much like to thank Mr. Arno Inuen and Mr. Nick Moser from Garavanta, Mr. Christoph Grob of CWA, and the Frey Company, who sadly are not represented here today. I want to thank them because they have persevered and come to Hong Kong with the COVID conditions that we had during the past 2 years, and yet they've satisfactorily given us here in Hong Kong the most magnificent tram in the world. We've also taken great care to preserve the heritage aspects of the former servant Burgundy model, but you'll discover many new features and innovations as you look around. Here in the terminus, there's a brand new visitor and passenger experience, enhanced technology, and a beautiful new color, Peak Tram Green. Now, I have to admit, it's in honor of the earlier third and fourth generation trams, which I believe were also green. Our colleagues have worked on the upgrade on this project for more than 10 years. Now, you'll wonder why more than 10 years, but the entire tram is new, including the track, wider, seamless, no bumps, and the tram is a very lightweight tram, which enables more people to be carried on the longer carriages. Now, the longer carriages have meant that we had to have longer platforms. So all of this has not been an easy thing. It's been work with government who have been extremely helpful, who have met the challenges as we have, including finding a culvert which nobody even had on any of the plans from 1880. So these are the enormous challenges that have been faced in producing the new tram here today. I should like to take this opportunity to thank all involved. I can't name you all, but I know how many have been constructive, helpful, under adverse conditions over the past, particularly over the past 4 years, but beyond that, of course, in the planning stages. Here in particular, Clement Kwok needs no introduction as the chief executive of our hotel company. To think that he has broad shoulders is an understatement, because we are also trying to complete 2 new hotels, one in London and one in Istanbul. And if we think we have had a few problems here, I can assure you we've had many problems over there. I also want to pay tribute to Group Director of Properties, Martin Sawyer. Martin, where are you? Martin oversaw the major transformations here and is present today, having already retired from the company. Now, Martin was hopeful of retiring a bit earlier, but he had to stay on because nobody knew when the tram would be finished. We're also very fortunate to have today present here Professor Peter Stevens, who gave valuable design inputs specifically in key areas of weight reduction and the cooling of the interior. Where are you, Peter? Over in the back. Thank you. Professor Stevens is better known as the aerodynamist who was instrumental in the McLaren F1 built 30 years ago, a three-seater motor car which changed the face of supercars. So we're very lucky to have him here because normally he's doing other things, but he was equally adept at helping us with the tram. A striking new addition for our travelers is the artwork at the entrance to the central terminus, a sculpture named Eye of Infinity by Australian artist Lindy Lee, who I'm delighted to say is with us today, and you can all see the statue outside, her outstanding piece of work. Lindy, where are you? Well done. Lindy's guarding her statue. She tells me the inspiration for Hong Kong's ability to climb new heights in the face of adversity is what she calls the spirit of ascension. Lindy, Hong Kong owes you a big tribute for what will be seen by millions as they come up Garden Road to go up the peak. Thank you very much. In the years between 1886 to 1888, when the first peak tram was being built, another feat of engineering was taking place in Europe. The Benz patent motor wagon was created and was widely regarded as the world's first automobile. This vehicle, built by Carl Benz, was truly world-changing and set the scene for more than a century of innovation in the automotive industry. The Benz replica that you see here can be driven on lighter fluid, and it will do nearly 25 kilometers an hour. I have driven it. My daughter has driven it. I did need a little supervision for myself, but a little bit of history. It was Mrs. Benz who pushed her husband to let her drive this car for some 50 kilometers from where they lived to Mannheim, and the car performed flawlessly, she with her son. Now, this is before Mercedes, 20-odd years before Mercedes became part of the Benz name. So there you are. It shows what can be done, and it is the same period as the tram. The replica here, I won't tell you where it was made, but there are about 130 of them, and many of them are being driven. May I now invite you all to experience a journey from tradition to innovation. The time has come to take a ride on our iconic Peak Tram. At the top, in addition to the view, I hope you will all have time to savor delicious cuisine from the Peninsula, Hong Kong. I want to thank you all once again for coming here. Sadly, we've got to cover our faces, but hopefully that's going to be something in the past in the not too long ahead of us. I think I've come to the end of my speech. You'll all be delighted to hear. So I hope that you will follow the way up to the tram now and enjoy a comfortable ride and the view from the top. We're very lucky to have a very clear day. Thank you all very much for coming. Thank you. Where do we go?
Thank you, Sir Michael. I'd like to invite you to please proceed to the left-hand side of the plaque. And before we take the trip from tradition to innovation, all the way up to the peak, we're going to have a plaque unveiling ceremony. We'd like to invite you all to witness a historical moment, the plaque unveiling ceremony, which will signify the important milestone of the Peak Tram's grand opening. And thank you again, Mr. Kevin Young, Secretary for Culture, Sports and Tourism, for being here to officiate the plaque unveiling ceremony on behalf of our Chief Executive, Mr. John Lee. So we're going to have a photo. Please look at the cameras. And in a few moments, I'd like to invite Sir Michael and Mr. Yeung with both hands to pull the curtain rope to unveil the plaque for us. Are you ready? On my count of 3, let's all count together to 3. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. What a momentous moment. Gentlemen, please hold for a photo. I'd like to invite our official photographer to please just wave your hand so we know which camera to look at, as there's lots of cameras here this evening. Right in the middle. Please remain on stage. We have a few more group photos to go. Now I'd like to invite Hong Kong and Shanghai Hotel Non-Executive Director Philip Kaduri and Hong Kong and Shanghai Hotel CEO Clement Kwok to join us on stage for another group photo. Welcome. Okay, once again, we can have a look at our official photographer right in the middle, right in the center, and all the cameras here this evening. Please remain where you are, gentlemen. Now I'd like to invite the Peak management team to join us on stage. Miss Shirley Lam, Martin Sawyer, Mei Zhang, and Mark Lomas. Please join us on stage for another photo, please. I'd like to invite Miss Shirley Lam, Martin Sawyer, Mei Zhang, and Mark Lomas for this photo. Just a few moments, we have guests coming on stage. Wonderful. To get the perfect shot. So our official photographer is the gentleman in the middle. Please take a look at our official photographer for this photo. All guests remain on stage. Now I'd like to invite Miss Vivian Sum, Commissioner for Tourism, to join this photo. Welcome. Stand a little bit closer together. Another photo right in the middle at our official photographer. Please remain where you are. Now I'd like to invite on stage the project team, Kim Kwan, Clement Chan, and Mr. Kenneth Chow on stage. Project team. Thank you, gentlemen. Mr. Kim Kwan, Mr. Clement Chan, and Mr. Kenneth Chow. Okay. In the middle for a group photo. Thank you. Please remain on stage, Mr. Young, Sir Michael, Philip Kaduri, and also Mr. Clement Kwok. Thank you, all other guests. Thank you. Please remain on stage, Mr. Young, Sir Michael, Mr. Philip Kaduri, and Mr. Clement Kwok. Now I'd like to invite our international visitors on stage for another photo. Professor Peter Stevens, Nick Mauser, Arno Inoa, Christoph Grob, together with Swiss Consul General Rolf Frey. Please come up on stage for a photo. Also, Miss Lindy Lee, and also the Australian Consul General, Miss Elizabeth Ward. Please come up on stage for a photo. So let me repeat that once again. Professor Peter Stevens, Nick Mauser, Arno Inoa, Christoph Grob, together with Swiss Consul General Rolf Frey. Artists this evening, Lindy Lee, and Australian Consul General Miss Elizabeth Ward for this photo. Fabulous. Now we have to make sure everyone is in the shot. So we need to listen to the directions of our official photographer for this shot. Got to listen to the professionals. Okay, right in the... One, two, three, smile. One more. Thank you very much. Thank you all our guests. Thank you very much this evening. Now I'd like to invite Mr. Young, Sir Michael, to please make your way to board the tram. We can also invite our government officials, consul generals, HSH board directors, the Kaduri family members who are present with us today to make your way to the Peak Tram, to the boarding area. So as Sir Michael said, tireless efforts from many to make this happen today. So as we proceed, I'd like to also inform our media friends who have joined us today, please also follow our PR colleagues to the photo shooting zone at the central terminus boarding platform to prepare for the media photo shooting session. I know everyone is very eager to board the tram, to take this experience, and obviously to reach to the peak, the rooftop where the actual party really is going to be happening. For all the other guests here this evening, we might need you to just bear with us for a few moments for the next tram. But we're also delighted to share with you a preview of a documentary that is under production about the new tram. So as you proceed, you may be able to see different screens. As you proceed to the platform,